Hi guys, here's again Jews for Cheeses. I wanted to make a video about Judaism, but I stumbled for the 10th time over the same shameless lie on the net, which has to be utterly debunked first. So here it is. Has the so-called prophet Mohammed been mentioned in the Bible? The arguments that are brought forward for that are usually as follows. Deuteronomy chapter 18 verse 18 says, I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. Shameless apologists claim to see Mohammed in this verse. As he is from the brothers of Jews, the Arabs, he is like Moses because he was a child of a mother and a father, was married and had children, accepted as prophet, had the power to have people executed, brought new legislation to his people. Furthermore, they claim that Muhammad is announced by Isaiah chapter 29 verse 12 as an unlearned, and mentioned by name in the Song of Songs chapter 5 verse 16. First of all, if you want to derive deductively something from a given text, you need to establish the claims of the given text first. For the shameless Muslim apologists who want to deduce Muhammad from the Bible, that means prove the Bible. Now, good luck with that. The real shamelessness, however, appears when the apologist's hobby of citing verses out of context while accusing other people of doing the same with their favorite scripture. I mean, just try to quote the Quran's verse 9:29 to the same Muslim apologist and see how long it takes to dispute the verse on the out of context grounds. But taking Bible verses from different books, different epochs, and different authors does not confront him or her with any difficulties. To actually analyze this non-argument, let us pretend that the biblical texts are reliable as prophecies and assume that some contextual connection between the quoted instances can be established, just now for the sake of argument. The search in the Old Testament of the King James Version, or likewise the Orthodox Jewish Bible, for the word Arab results in a couple of hits. Those hits, among others, instruct not to let Arabs pitch a tent in a certain place, or even illustrate how God has helped to fight against Philistines and Arabs and other enemies. However, I was not able to find any instance in the Bible of naming Arabs thy brethren. Instead, Judaism refers to Jews as each other's brothers. But forget about the brothers issue. Let us focus on the interpretation of what it takes to be like Moses. Born of a mother and a father. So that is pretty much everyone who has ever lived. Being married and having children. Yeah, that's a restriction, but still most of people that have ever lived fulfill this condition. Accepted as a prophet. Now, this is where it's getting difficult, even for the so-called prophet Muhammad, because the Jewish tribes of Medina, Banu Nadir and Banu Qurayza, they reportedly did not accept him as a prophet and even fought against him. Having the power to execute people. Well, there we have Joshua from the Old Testament, who could execute some people who only lost the lottery, or any of the judges for that matter. They had legislative power. That's all they need to be like Moses. But who actually says that these are the criteria for being like Moses? Why can't we say that being a bad speaker is a necessary criterion? This is what is reported about Moses in Exodus 6:30. While Muhammad uttered by Muslim tradition the most wonderful poetic text in Arabic that ever can be written, Moses had to be substituted by Aaron every time there was a public speaking event. So no prophecy to be found here. Let us examine the prophesied unlettered prophet from Isaiah 29:12. We have different versions of being unlettered. The Hebrew is speaking about someone who doesn't know the book, while the King James Version says, I am not learned. And the English Standard Version says, I cannot read. So the translations do not agree. But let's forget about that. What is important? The context has nothing to do with the announcement of a prophet. Instead, this whole passage describes a period of ignorance that will overcome the people of Israel. The most shameless lie in this claim is that Mohammed is mentioned by name in the Song of Songs, chapter 5, verse 16. The shameless apologist provides a transliteration that is as follows: Hiko mamitakim ve kulo Muhammadim ze dudi va ze ratze baina Jerusalem. This is already wrong. The correct transliteration should be Hiko mamtakim ve kulo Muhammadim ze dodi ve ze rei banot Yerushalam. The difference is small, but you can distinguish when I say Muhammadim and Mahamadim. But the verse has even nothing to do with an eventually announced prophet. It's the description of a beloved one by a loving woman, and the word Mahamadim means delightful. As if that was not enough, the authors claim that the ending im is a grammatical form of honor. Now let's see if we can find anyone honorable like Moses or Joseph being referred to as Mosesim or Josephim. Oh, no, we can't. But wait, there are Ephraim and Mizraim. They do have the im. Yes, because it's part of their name. In the same way as we couldn't find Mosesim, we cannot find Ephra or Misra, being Ephraim and Mizraim without the im. So those ims are just part of the name, period. Im can be used as an indicator for abstraction, as from Betula, virgin, to Betulim, virginity. However, the most common usage is to indicate the plural. This is also here the case. In Hebrew, it says, all of him is delightful, because the adjective Muhammad has to agree with the pronoun all. I hope it is clear to you now that the claims made for Mohammed being foretold by the Bible fail on all possible levels. I mean the context, the accurate translation, and even on the level of reading. People who share that on the net might just be ignorant, but they choose to remain so by not actually checking. This nonsense has made its way not only to cheap Dava sites on Facebook, but it also to be found on the representative sites of large mosques and their communities. What really bothers me is, what is the apologist who wrote this thinking? Of course, if he's preaching to his own choir, he does not have to fear anything. But there are also people with doubts reading this. People who are not sure if Islam is the right way. People who want to check and double check. The minute they actually check just a little piece of those claims, they will recognize that the apologist is lying to them. The person who represents their religion to them is a liar. You cannot damage your credibility more than that. Thank you for watching, and I see you next time. Bye.